Imagine a country so influential that, 1 in 3 people in neighboring North Macedonia claim its identity, and more than half of Kosovo's population speaks its language. Yet, when you walk through its capital today, you'll find a strange paradox. A young population mixed with the very elderly, with, an entire generation mysteriously missing. Underground tunnels built for a war that never came now serve as museums, and a pyramid built to honor a dictator stands abandoned in the city center. Religion was completely banned for decades, yet today mosques and churches stand side by side while families celebrate both Ramadan and Christmas. This is Albania, a country of just 3 million people, covering merely 28,000 square kilometers, yet casting a shadow far larger than its tiny size suggests. From the ashes of empires and the ruins of communism, Albania is rising, but the scars run deep. Welcome to one of Europe's most misunderstood nations, where ancient identity meets modern confusion, and where survival has become an art form perfected over centuries. The Balkan context, understanding the region. The Balkans and the countries within this complex region are likely familiar to many, though often misunderstood. These nations are typically small in size, inhabited by remarkably warm people, and generally blessed with pleasant temperate weather. These sparsely populated countries gained independence from past empires but have shown frustratingly limited development since breaking free. Albania exemplifies this pattern perfectly. Covering just 28,000 square kilometers and home to only 3 million people, you might assume it's an insignificant player on the world stage. You'd be wrong. Albania's cultural and linguistic influence reaches far beyond its modest borders in ways that surprise most outsiders. In North Macedonia, 1 in 3 people identifies as Albanian. In Kosovo, more than half the population speaks Albanian and considers themselves ethnically Albanian rather than simply Kosovar. This diaspora of Albanian identity, language and culture demonstrates that national influence cannot be measured by land area or population alone. Centuries of occupation, the Ottoman and Italian legacy. Albania's modern identity was forged through centuries of foreign occupation. The country was once part of the vast Ottoman Empire, and that period left indelible marks on Albanian society. After the Ottomans lost control of the region, the country faced successive invasions by Italy, Greece, and Serbia. These repeated occupations prevented Albania from developing a stable, independent identity for generations. As a result of these occupations, Albanian society fell under various influences, eventually embracing communism while desperately trying to establish its own distinct identity. Even today, when you visit Albania, you can observe the profound impact of both Ottoman and Italian rule on Albanian culture, cuisine, and daily life. Italian influences are particularly visible. Leaders' names have been given to public squares, like Victor Emmanuel Square in the capital. Even Albania's most famous citizen, Mother Teresa, was given an Italian name despite her Albanian ethnicity. The blending of Italian and Albanian culture runs so deep that some Albanians don't follow their own country's football teams, instead watching Italian leagues and feeling emotionally closer to Western Europe than to their Balkan or Asian neighbors. The Ottoman legacy manifests differently but just as powerfully. About half of Albania's population is Muslim, a direct result of Ottoman rule. Many traditional dishes derive from Turkish cuisine. Some people's physical appearances carry characteristics inherited from centuries of Ottoman presence. The architectural landscape features mosques alongside Orthodox churches and Catholic cathedrals, creating a unique religious tapestry. The communist era, Enver Hoxha's iron grip. After the Ottomans and Italians, Albania entered a dark period of communist rule under one of history's most extreme dictators. Enver Hoxha led the Albanian Labour Party from 1941 to 1985, ruling the country with absolute power for approximately 41 years. His legacy remains deeply complicated and controversial. On one hand, Hoxha is credited with dramatically transforming Albania's educational landscape, increasing the literacy rate from approximately 5% to 90%. He built railways, modernized infrastructure, and eradicated various epidemics that had plagued the population. These achievements were genuine and improved many Albanian lives. On the other hand, Hoxha closed every single religious institution in the country, attempting to create the world's first completely atheist state. Religion wasn't just discouraged or restricted, it was utterly banned. Practicing any faith, even privately, could result in imprisonment or execution. Albania became a secular state by force, not choice, and this religious suppression left psychological scars that persist today. The bunkers and tunnels, paranoia made concrete. If you visit Albania today, you'll encounter something truly bizarre: numerous underground tunnels and tens of thousands of concrete bunkers scattered across the landscape. Hoxha built these structures as precautions against potential invasion, convinced that Albania would face attack from the West, the Soviet Union, or both. These paranoid preparations never served their intended purpose. The war Hoxha feared never materialized. Instead, these tunnels have been repurposed into museums, offering visitors glimpses into the communist past. One significant tunnel sits directly in the center of the capital. If you're interested in the remnants of totalitarian regimes, the rooms and artifacts preserved in these underground spaces can be genuinely captivating and deeply unsettling. At one point, people endured difficult and harsh conditions in these very spaces. Now the memories of those times are open to visitors, transformed from instruments of control into educational exhibits. It's a strange kind of tourism, walking through spaces built for a war that never came by a dictator convinced the entire world wanted to destroy his tiny country. There's even a large pyramid in Tirana, built to honor Enver Hoxha during his rule and designed by his son-in-law. Today it stands abandoned and somewhat pathetic, occasionally used by young people who climb to its peak for views of the city. It's a perfect metaphor for communist ambitions, grandiose, crumbling, and repurposed by a generation that rejects what it originally represented. The missing generation, Albania's demographic crisis. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, communism's grip on Albania finally ended. Sadly, the country immediately fell into a governance vacuum, struggling to transition from totalitarian control to democratic institutions. During this chaotic period, some Albanians were given opportunities to migrate to Italy and acquire Italian citizenship. Others scattered across various regions of Europe seeking better lives and economic opportunities. This mass emigration created a demographic catastrophe that's immediately visible today. Albania is experiencing a severe shortage of middle-aged people. When visiting the capital, you'll notice a disproportionately large presence of Generation Z youths, aged 18 to 20, alongside very elderly people. The middle generations, those who should be in their 30s, 40s and 50s, are largely absent. They left, and most never returned. This missing generation creates economic and social problems. Who mentors the young? Who cares for the elderly? Who provides the productive labor force that drives economic development? Albania struggles with these questions daily, trying to build a future while missing a critical demographic segment. Cultural identity surviving centuries of influence. Despite being influenced by various nations and cultures for centuries, Albanians have managed to progress into modern times without losing their core identity. This is genuinely remarkable considering the sustained pressures to assimilate into Ottoman, Italian, Serbian, or Greek culture. However, many aspects of daily Albanian life reflect a complex blend of influences from the nations that ruled them. Half the country identifies as Muslim, practicing Islam brought by the Ottomans. Their cuisine heavily features Turkish dishes, yet their fashion, sports, and clothing styles show strong Italian influence. Some physical characteristics show Ottoman heritage, while language patterns reveal Latin and Germanic roots beneath the Slavic and Turkish layers. Albanian people have their own unique language, officially known simply as Albanian. It's been influenced by Greek and Serbian due to thousands of years of Eastern Roman rule, and by Turkish and Arabic during 4 centuries of Ottoman occupation. Despite these influences, Albanian actually bears surprising similarities to Latin and Germanic languages. As a result, Albanian speakers can usually understand and quickly learn Italian and German, creating natural bridges to Western Europe. However, only Albanian is officially recognized within the country. There are no official language education programs other than Albanian in schools, and you must use this language to conduct business in public institutions. This linguistic nationalism represents one way Albania protects its identity against centuries of cultural pressure. Demographics: who lives in Albania today? Not all residents are ethnically Albanian. Approximately 82% of the population identifies as Albanian, while the remaining 18% includes Italians, Middle Easterners, various Balkan communities, and Roma populations. Smaller percentages include Romanians, Bulgarians, Montenegrins, and Greeks. Foreigners from various parts of the world come to Albania to conduct business and settle with their families. Italians often open clothing stores, leveraging their cultural connections and fashion expertise. Arabs and Turks frequently open kebab shops and restaurants, serving familiar cuisine to both immigrants and curious locals. Those arriving from outside Albania typically enter through the capital, Tirana, which serves as the gateway and economic hub. Geographic advantage: access to the sea. Unlike most other Balkan countries, Albania possesses the significant advantage of direct access to the sea. This allows people to enter the country by water or land, increasing connectivity and trade opportunities. Coastal access has become Albania's primary economic advantage, driving tourism revenue that neighboring landlocked countries cannot easily replicate. If you're flying into Tirana, there are important locations you should understand. The most significant is Skanderbeg Square, located in the heart of the capital. Albanians consider this place the very heart of Tirana. It's an enormous public space and one of the city's busiest locations. Here you'll find the statue of Skanderbeg, a figure from the early 1400s, now considered the national hero of all Albanians. During the communist regime, this square was closed to pedestrian traffic, reserved for official parades and demonstrations. After communism's collapse, it was decided that this vast area would become social space for the public, transforming from a symbol of state control into a place of freedom and gathering. Economic reality in the Balkans is shaped by the struggle for decent wages. Many people living in the region are low-income individuals, and honestly, their currency holds significantly less value compared to Western Europe. Since a lot of Balkan nations aren't members of the European Union, they use their own currencies. Even countries like Romania and Greece, which are EU members, still maintain their own currencies rather than adopting the euro. Albania, for instance, uses the Albanian lek. €1 is about 102 Albanian leks. If you're used to earning euros and think you can buy a lot when visiting Albania, well, you might want to prepare for disappointment. The cost of everything from groceries to restaurants and retail stores is actually quite high, and it's rare to find anything priced below 200 leks. That's why Albanians use very high denomination banknotes, such as 2,000 lek notes. They also have coins with surprisingly high values like 5, 20 and even 100 lek pieces. To get a rough euro value for Albanian currency, you can simply remove 2 zeros. For example, 1,000 Albanian leks roughly equals 10 euros. This really shows that Albanian money remains relatively low in value compared to the euro, creating constant economic pressure on ordinary citizens. The minimum monthly income in Albania is only equivalent to 400 euros, and most Albanians earn an average of around 500 to 600 euros monthly from their jobs. There's widespread dissatisfaction with these wages, and Albanian leaders are trying to raise salaries to the 900 euro range, though it's still uncertain whether they'll succeed. In various European countries, like Switzerland and in the United States, people are paid hourly wages. But this concept doesn't exist in Albania. Here, people earn money based on fixed monthly salaries, not according to working hours. This system, honestly, offers less flexibility and fewer opportunities to increase income through overtime or additional shifts. The cost of living, particularly when it comes to housing, is another big challenge. When searching for rental apartments in Tirana, it's virtually impossible to find anything for less than €400 per month. To maintain a decent standard of living in the capital, at least 2 members of a family of 4 need to work, bringing in a minimum net income of around €1,500 each month. This means dual incomes are required just to achieve basic comfort, placing enormous pressure on families. Cities like Vlora and Saranda, both coastal destinations popular with tourists, are even more expensive than the capital. This creates a kind of paradoxical situation where people working in tourism hotspots often can't afford to live there, so they end up commuting from cheaper areas or living in substandard conditions. Culture and family play a central role in the Albanian way of life. Family is extremely important in Albanian culture. Like in other Balkan countries, Albanian people lead intensely family-oriented lives. Typically, a husband and wife see 2 children as sufficient, maintaining small but close-knit family units. Extended family connections remain strong, with multiple generations often living near each other and providing mutual support. The people in Albania, like in most Balkan countries, are known for being friendly, helpful, and warm toward outsiders. The beautiful climate in the region, with plenty of sunshine and temperate weather, probably contributes to the positive character and the frequently smiling faces of the people. Despite being right next to other developed European countries, Albania hasn't developed at similar rates. People often appear to live day to day, leading unplanned lives without long-term strategies. This situation likely comes from recent war traumas, the influence of poor political leaders, and perhaps cultural factors that prioritize present enjoyment over future planning. Additionally, Albania doesn't often make international headlines. Albanians aren't widely known as experts in particular fields of work, and there are no famous global brands associated with the country. Whether this reflects genuine differences in work ethic or simply a lack of economic opportunity is still debated. However, one thing that makes Albania stand out from neighboring Balkan countries like Kosovo and North Macedonia is its substantial tourism income. Thanks to its extensive coastline directly on the Adriatic and Ionian seas, many Europeans visit Albania for affordable beach vacations, seeing it as a budget-friendly alternative to Greece or Croatia. When it comes to religion and freedom, Albania is honestly a bit of a surprise. People in modern Albania are free to believe whatever they want without facing religious oppression. This is a dramatic reversal from the Hoxha era's complete ban on all religious practice. This region has been ruled by European Christian kingdoms and Muslim states like the Ottoman Empire for many years. Today, Albania features numerous mosques and churches, and throughout the day you can hear both the Muslim call to prayer and Christian church bells. Unlike in some places, religious beliefs aren't symbols of political power in Albania. They don't directly translate into political influence. This means politicians are not heavily influenced by religious politics and are theoretically required to formulate policies based on practical concerns rather than theological positions. It's also, remarkably common for individuals in the same family to adhere to both Islam and Christianity simultaneously. For example, in a Christian Albanian family, even if there is only one Muslim member, the Christian individuals might fast on the last day or 2 of Ramadan out of respect for the Muslim family member's beliefs. This level of interfaith tolerance and flexibility is rare globally and represents one of Albania's most admirable characteristics: migration patterns. The exodus continues. Young people from Albania, as well as other Balkan countries, tend to migrate to more developed European nations for permanent residence, especially after completing their education. The countries they most frequently migrate to include Germany, France, and Italy. Attracted by the wide range of job opportunities and significantly higher wages, this brain drain continues to deplete Albania of its most educated and ambitious citizens. Those who leave rarely return except for visits, establishing lives and raising families in Western Europe. Each departure represents lost potential for Albania's development, creating a vicious cycle where lack of opportunity drives emigration, which further reduces economic development, which creates more incentive to leave. The unfinished story, Albania's ongoing transformation. Albania represents an unfinished transformation. It's a country that survived centuries of occupation, decades of brutal dictatorship and post-communist chaos, yet somehow maintained its distinct identity. The scars are visible everywhere, in the abandoned bunkers dotting the landscape, in the missing generation that emigrated en masse, in the economic struggles that force dual incomes just to achieve basic comfort. But there's also resilience, warmth, and a culture that refused to be erased despite repeated attempts. Albanian identity not only survived but spread to neighboring countries, becoming a regional force. The religious tolerance that emerged from decades of forced atheism represents an unexpected gift, allowing diverse beliefs to coexist peacefully. Albania faces genuine challenges: low wages, limited economic development, ongoing emigration, and the struggle to define itself in modern Europe. Yet it also offers something really increasingly rare: affordable living near beautiful coastlines, a warm and welcoming culture, and the freedom to practice any religion or none at all. For those interested in exploring lesser-known European destinations, understanding post-communist transformations, or simply experiencing a culture that blends Ottoman, Italian, and indigenous Albanian influences into something unique, Albania deserves attention. It's not polished like Western Europe, nor as chaotic as developing nations. It exists in a fascinating in-between state, simultaneously ancient and newly born, struggling but surviving, small yet influential. What are your thoughts on Albania's complex history and current challenges? Does the blend of influences from various empires intrigue you? Would you consider visiting or living in a country still finding its footing after decades of isolation? Share your perspectives in the comments below. And if this revealed a side of Albania you never knew existed, consider sharing it with others curious about Europe's forgotten corners.